Hey everybody, Jeff Dunham. How's it going? So here we are live on YouTube again, and the title of the video pretty much explains it all. The top 10 toys that almost killed Jeff from my childhood. Something like that, right, Matt?
That's right.
All right, pretty close. So we did a video a week or two ago about the incredible edible toys from 1970, I think it was 74, 73, whatever it was, early 70s, that I had as a kid. And it was by Mattel, and it was basically a little oven that you'd put gobbledygook in molds, and then you would eat this stuff. And we actually did it, if you want to go back and see it, 51 years later, we used the same stuff that had never been opened, and I cooked it and ate it, and I didn't die. So we got to thinking, how about a video about those toys from the 70s when I was a kid, the stuff that today parents would think would kill a child. And I've gathered a lot of stuff off of eBay and also stuff I've kept from my childhood, and we wanted to show you a few things today, but we want you to guess. What do you think the number one most dangerous toy was that I had, that a lot of people had from the 70s? And we'll show you that at the end. Right, Matt?
That's right.
All right.
And you sort of touched on it, but the reality is, it's not like we went out or you went out and bought a bunch of things to make a video.
No, this is stuff that I have because
Right.
I love collecting toys. I didn't go on eBay and just get all this stuff. This is stuff that I still have, and that I just love collecting toys from my childhood. And now that my boys are 22 months old, I can't wait for them to grow up a little bit, and I'm going to show them what real toys are like and how you can really get hurt.
You're going to make men of them.
I'm going to make men of them at age 3, damn it. So let's go ahead and start with one that we touched on during the Incredible Edibles thing, and this is this right here, Matt. This is the Fright Factory. I had this as a kid, and it starts with the Thing Maker. There were many different sets for the Thing Maker, but the Thing Maker is this right here. And basically, it's a hot plate. And this hot plate isn't just a warm plate, it's a stinking hot plate. And what are the ages on this toy? I don't know, but this came out in 1966, and I was 5 years old, 6 years old when I had one. And you look at the kid on the box, Matt, come on, look at this right here. I mean, how that kid's, probably 8, something like that, 1964. And, but I'm telling you, guess how hot this is. We touched on the other video, but here's my gun right here. We've had this plugged in for a little while. Look at it, 429, 430 degrees. What the heck? 430 degrees. It was a toy. You know, you could brand your sister with that thing. Not that that's a good idea, but you could accidentally. Not that you'd ever do it on purpose. I didn't have a sister. I would never brand my sister. But I love this box. I want people to guess. This guy right here did commercials for Mattel back then, and I'm pretty sure they used his image. And you'll know this person's name if they actually use this, because they're going to show him in a television commercial from back then, from 1966. Anyway, so again, the Thing Maker toy, I want to show this really quickly. What would happen is you'd have this kit, and look in here, Matt, here we go. So it would come with the hot plate, the Thing Maker, and then a bunch of aluminum molds. And in the aluminum molds, you would take this like this, and then take the plastic goop. And again, I have some plastic goop here. And you just pour it in the molds like this. Like this. Yeah, Matt, you got to get this really well here. Okay, good. So you get that. And this was a double mold. This would actually teach children things, because this was the double-sided mold where you would have a positive and a negative. And put that in there, and you finish filling it up like this. Again, we're not going to waste your time. Don't worry. We'll get through this pretty quickly. But I just wanted to show how this worked. I got to fill it up fast because I don't want to bore people with this. But you fill this mold up. We're going to actually cook this while we're doing other things. Hold on. We got to fill this up all the way. Almost done. Stand by. Don't want to make a mess. But basically what we're making here is a shrunken head. And there's no better toy for a 6-year-old kid than a shrunken head, just like that. And it actually came with hair. Oh, I did have to get the hair off of eBay because I didn't have any hair left in my kit. And there was actually a guy selling hair for the shrunken head on the Fright Factory. And a guy that works for me that opens my mail sometimes, he actually called me and said, "Someone sent you a lock of black hair. Do you want this, or is it some kind of creepy fan?" I go, no, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I ordered that.
I ordered that. No, it's good. Okay, so Matt, you see it's all filled up. And wait, we should give him a bone too. Should we give a little bone in his teeth? You get a little bone in it for his nose. It's a nose bone. Isn't that a thing now?
I don't, maybe.
Okay. Well, we're going to make it a thing there. And then, there's the rope. We won't yeah, why not? That's hell. Do the rope. Who cares? I'm not going to do this it's going to It's going to be messy. I didn't take my time here. Okay, so we're going to cook this, and we'll come back to it later. Oh yeah, here's the thing, Matt. There you go. So you take your tongs, and again, what do we say? 450 stinking degrees in that thing?
Yeah, we've had a couple people say that you could actually fry an egg on it.
Oh my gosh, we should do that. We should tell Audrey. Oh, we don't have any eggs in this house. What are we talking about? We have no eggs. That's a little reveal there. There's no eggs in our house.
You could fry almond milk on it.
Oh, we could boil almond milk. Okay, here, are you getting this? Okay, so I'm going over here to my 450 degree oven at age 6. Do you know how hard this was to balance this at age 6 years old and not burn the living crap out of yourself? Okay, so we'll keep that going. I got this goop on my hands. I'm not quite sure what this chemical is, but all I know is, here, Matt, show this. This is what happens when you spill the goop on styrofoam. It eats through the styrofoam. So no telling what we were giving our children to play with or what my parents were giving me. That's the point. I turned out fine. All right. So talk about burning hot toys. All right. I want to go back a couple of years. This is when I was 6 or 7 years old. Here's the one that has dumbfounded me for decades. And that was another toy that I had at age 5 years old. It's this right here. The wood burning set. I mean, this has been around since I don't know how long, but the wood burning set was just, I mean, talk about a learning toy. What you learned from this, look at this. This is, again, I have one at age 5, but it says for boys and girls from 7 to 16 and up. So it's the Wonder Pin, the electric Wonder Pin, the wood burning set. And again, I have here it is basically right here. It's this wand with a piece of cork around it. And it says right here, important, hold pin by the cork collar, don't touch the hot point. That's the learning thing that we learned as kids. If you touch something that's hot, you're gonna get a blister and it's gonna hurt like hell, right? That's what we learned. So we have one plugged in right here, and I wanna show you how this works. You were given pieces of wood with painted on here, stenciled on here, the pictures. And then you would take your wood burning pin and you would outline, you'd follow the red lines, and you'd end up with a wood burned little picture thingy. I did one for my grandmother right here. This is one I did as a kid. I actually found this, and it's an Indian on a horse, or Native American on a horse. And also, you see that it's painted. It would come with the watercolor paint, and you mix together and paint it. Am I lying about this? No, I'm not. Jeff, happy birthday, Grandmom, 1967. My mother wrote that in pencil, and then I started outlining it in the wood burning set. My mother let me do this, and she was worried about me all the time. You want to see how hot this stinking thing is? I'll show you. It's great. It's really, here we are with the Y. I didn't finish the Y. Okay, here we go.
Holy crap.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah. That is great.
That's so much better than a marker.
It is. And it would come with different tips. And I don't, how many houses got burnt down with these things?
Well, I was just thinking, I can only imagine being a parent walking into the house and the smell of burning wood.
It is. It smells like a house burning down right now. Oh my gosh. All right, I love it. So Matt, just for safety's sake, I'm going to unplug this now that we're finished with this part of the segment.
The one thing before we leave the wood burning tool, I love the name that they give it.
The electric Wonder Pin.
The electric Wonder, because like flaming pencil was taken. Is that the...
Flaming pencil or fiery, red hot fiery torch? Probably not a good thing. Yeah, but Grandmom, she's been dead for a couple decades, but I'm so happy I still have that. I don't know, why do I have it? Oh, I think she died, and my mother gave it back to me after she died. Oh, great. All right. One thing we forgot to point out here, Matt. This is the greatest thing: the wood burning instructions. How old are those kids? How old are those kids?
Yeah, they're 7, maybe.
Okay, this was my favorite thing. You didn't believe me when I read this. It said, for lines or curves, use the sharpest of them. For light lines, here we go. Draw lines toward yourself. So basically, you're holding this thing like this, and you go, ow! Ow! Or you're like you said, you're sitting in your lap Indian. Can you say Indian style anymore?
I don't think
it. Crisscross applesauce. You're sitting on the floor like that, and you draw it, or you pull the line towards you, and then hit your crotch. It's great. Perfect.
Well, and the other thing before we move on again, we were talking about the new generation. They all get participation trophies.
Right. Your participation trophy is a blister.
Yay, I participated.
Yeah. All right. Now, this was when I was 5 years old, but moving on to age, I think it was age 8. I don't know what it was. But Santa Claus one year brought this to me, and You know, as a boy, I was interested in tools. Even as a little kid, my father didn't know anything about tools. He didn't make anything. I had to learn everything myself. This was the first set of tools I had that actually started teaching me about how to build things. So it was very appropriate that on my workbench is my first workbench. And this was Power Mite by Ideal. Ideal was my favorite toy company back then. They had Captain Action, all kinds of fun stuff. But basically what this is, okay, it looks like just simple, dumb little tools, right? Okay, those are kind of ornamental. You could actually measure with this thing, with the, okay, so these would all work, but they're tiny tools. The best part were the power tools. And are they just little kid like Barbie power tools? No. There's D batteries inside this thing, and it was a power source. You would take these tools and plug them into the outlet under here. And Matt, you got to get a close-up on this. Here's the guard, the safety guard. But I can pull that safety guard back, and yeah. And that is solid metal. That is sharp as hell. If I drug my finger across that pretty hard, I'd cut myself. So it would actually spin like this. The kit came with wood. It came with wood. You draw your plans. It came with plans for making different things. It was great. So you had the circular saw. You had the jigsaw, which also went up and down. You could cut your finger off with. Great. The drill, you could actually drill somebody's eye out with that if you weren't careful. And then a sander when you're done. So again, the perfect toys, and what's great about this is, look at this. Here's the circular saw. How much different is this from the modern day Dremel tool? It's the same thing. Great.
The thing that's really awesome about this to me too is just the scale of everything.
Yeah.
Like you could almost take a photo of this and you might think that it was really a workbench.
Yeah. Well, I did. I would use these little plans, and again, I had the extra that I never opened, but I would use these plans. I actually made a few things, put right here and cut things out. It was great. It was a great learning toy, and you learned that when the saw was on, you didn't put your finger in front of it. It's actually not too dangerous. I don't know if I ever
Look,
cut.
if you went after that went after your little sister or brother with one of these things, I'm going to tell you right now.
Well, with the drill especially. And you can even take the drill bits out. Look, you take the drill bits out. It came with like 6 different drill bits, different sizes. It's great.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Pretty.
But I don't know that you're ever going to get much done with that hammer.
Well, no. I tried. But the vise, it comes with a little bench vise right here. It's great. All right. So we go on from that. So Matt, the next thing these were some of my favorite toys as a kid. And in Texas, fantastic. Dallas, there were no laws. It was great. I don't think there were any laws in any state against these things back then. But your son Holden got a bunch of these a few years ago for birthday presents, right?
That's right.
All right. So in Texas, it was called Estes. Everywhere else, I guess it was Estes. I don't know what it is, but the Estes rockets. Now, what was so dangerous about these? Well, nothing if you did it right. But what's amazing to me, Matt, is you showed me this. I haven't looked at one of these kits in years, but they're all different levels for building these rockets. But this is the entry level thing. And what comes with it is basically a launch pad with, this was the pole that the thing would actually guide it. I forgot what it's called. It's the launch pad with the thing, the guide thingy, whatever it was. And there are the fins for the rocket and the kits for the rocket. It actually had a parachute. And what was great is this thing would actually fire off the launch pad, and it came with the launcher. You had to build the launcher, the electronic launcher. You had to put a safety key in there when it was hooked up to the engine. When it was ready to rock, you put the safety key in, the light would come on, you push the button, it would ignite it. Basically what this is a firecracker. It's fireworks. It would come with what they called engines, which were basically just huge firecrackers, right? Just propellant. Is what it was. Nothing would blow up. They would propel this thing.
And they didn't have a fuse on them.
No, there was no
you
fuse.
Stuck a fuse in them.
Right. The fuse that came with it were 2 little tiny wires that went up inside the engine. You'd hook these 2 alligator clips, whatever they are, to the 2 pieces of wire that came out. When you hooked it to the launcher and stood 25 feet away with the wire hooked up, all it would do was heat up that igniter inside the engine and blow it off. So you said you had a friend who would do what with them?
Oh, we would. We use those igniters to set off firecrackers. We soaked grits in gasoline. I'm from the South. We soaked grits in gasoline.
So grits and gasoline.
Try to make explosive grits.
I think I like you, Matt, because you're my, we both have a little white trash in us still. Even though we live in LA, we still have it. Oh yeah, you know why we do? I know we do. This is one of my girls' favorite toys. This has nothing to do with being dangerous. Nothing to do with being dangerous. Oh.
Oh no. Oh, there it is.
Of course, the fart machine. Anyway, we used to play with that with my parents all the time. My girls, when they were little, would put it under my father's chair at Thanksgiving, and my mother would get, like, she actually thought my dad was doing that. It was some of the most fun times. My boys are going to be experts at using that thing for guests. Anyway, so these things would blast off in the air, and it wasn't like they went 20 feet up in the air. And it would depended on the size of the engines. There were the A's, the B's, the C's, the D's engines that you could buy, and the higher the letter, the stronger the engine. So this one with the little A engines or whatever they went, 1,150 feet. So we have laws in LA that you can't set these things off. So Matt, we've agreed that when my boys get a little bit older, we're going to build the Estes rockets, and we're going to have rocket day. We're going to go out to the desert somewhere in the middle of nowhere where we can't set silicon sand on fire.
Yeah,
right?
About once every 6 months, Holden mentions to me he wants to shoot these rockets, and
we'll do it.
We just have never done it. So.
But here's the dangerous part. They are really, really dangerous. And back when I was a kid, they came with a little manual that showed a picture of a kid with some horrible injury. You couldn't tell what it was. It looked like he'd blown his hand off. It was horrible. But my mother was scared to death of these things. My mother was always scared of everything. And my father didn't know how to build anything. But I was given my first kit when I was a little kid, and you had to build that electronic launcher. You had to put the wires in it and the whole thing. What?
Some kind of gene just reminded us we're still cooking.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Hold on, is it done yet?
Speaking of burning the house down.
Oh, it's not done quite. You know what? This goop is really old. It might not quite work because the goop is really old. It's not. It should be hard yet. It's not. If we see smoke, we'll know it's done. Perfect. But anyway, so this launcher, my dad built it. He didn't know what he was doing. I look back at it, and it was so simple. It was like stripping a wire, hooking it to a screw, a couple little things, but he was just like so unsure of himself when it came to this stuff. He was a brilliant guy when it came to finances and, but when it came to mechanical things, electronic things, forget about it. So the first time we took these out, I am not kidding you. We went to my elementary school, and it was obviously during the summer. Nobody was there. And my mother insisted on going and taking a pan, 2 pans full of water. So when we hooked this thing up and it didn't blast off, my mother made my father take this pan of water and throw it on the rocket. And of course I had painted it with watercolor paints, and he just doused my entire rocket and ruined the whole thing. I knew it was stupid. It wasn't going to blow up on the launch pad if it didn't launch, but that was my mother. That was my first experience. Later I learned how to build them, and we would launch them all the time. All right, let's move on. All right, so there's that. And speaking of flying, I was fascinated with flying as a kid. I flew kites left and right and up and down. I put things on them, but I also loved flying toys. One of my favorite flying toys was the Mattel Verde Bird. And this thing lasted for years and years. So let me show you how this thing works. So basically the Vertibird is it's a helicopter. But this thing, it's not like the toys today where they pretend to fly. This thing actually flies with the rotor on top turning round and round. You can move forward like this, move it going around and round and round. And so this thing is really, really stinking flying. And you could get good at it because what you would do is you would come around and try and pick things up, et cetera, et cetera. But what's great about this thing, Matt, is this blade is turning like this. They eventually added these rubber tips on the end, which would keep people from killing themselves or cutting themselves to death. Sorry, somebody's at the front door. Anyway, so there you go. Again, Matt, this could probably hurt somebody. You would never have this toy today.
No.
Never.
And I remember my brother specifically, purposefully flying that into my legs.
Of course. Yeah, you could hurt a cat with it.
You could hurt a cat with it.
I love this thing. Yeah. And I got really good with it too. So anyway, all right. So then after the Vertibird, another toy that Mattel came out with, I think I've got it in the right order, but I got this for Christmas one year as well, and it was the Dareplane Stunter. And this was I don't know how in the world, I don't think this toy succeeded very long. The Vertibird, people could fly. The Dareplane, kids could fly. The Dareplane Stunter was difficult because you had to have this plane set up right. You had to know what an elevator on an airplane did. You had to know really how an airplane flew to make this thing work. This is an actual flying plane. And, of course, it's got the propeller on the front. That is no joke right there. And again, they put the little rubber tips on the edges of the blade because that could really hurt. So, Matt, here, let's see if we can get this thing to fly, okay?
I'm gonna back up.
You better back up. Yeah. Here we go. And there you go, yay! So what's amazing is that thing is actually flying. It's not, that's a, that's a, what do you call it? It's a flexible line right there. And you can do all kinds of aerobatics. You can make it go higher. You can stall it out. There you go. Great. But again, you fly that into somebody, that's going to hurt. Not going to kill anybody, but still. They would never make anything like this today.
And, sort of the combination between these two, I think we were talking about with the Estes rockets, were those U-lines.
Oh, the U-control things. That's a sport now. That's fun. Grown men do it. They build beautiful airplanes and they fly them models. But as a kid, you could get the Cox. Cox made them.
That's right,
yeah.
COX.
Cox made them, and these were actually started with fuel. They were a single cycle, and you would actually start them yourself. And they were on a control line. They'd go around and around in a circle, but those motors were strong. And those weren't propellers with rubber tips. You could cut your fingers off with those stupid things. But they were made for 8-year-old kids. You had them, right?
I did, and Kira Christensen keeps saying, cooking.
Cooking. Let's go. Hold on. Let's go back over. Cooking. I say, it stinks over here. You know what? I think this goop is no good. Oh, boo! I got some bad goop. But let's go ahead because it should be hardened by now. Let's go. Listen.
Yeah, that's warm.
That is freaking hot. You know what it was? Maybe my oven is so old it got hotter than it's supposed to get. What's it on? 483 degrees. Oh my gosh. 480. It's almost a 500 degree hot plate for an 8-year-old child. If anybody has scars from these things, send us photos. All right. So speaking of flying things, there are so many toys that were back then that you couldn't even get near a TSA or an airport today. Some of these things we're about to show you, if you showed up anywhere near the airport with these things, you'd be arrested, even if you were 10 years old, or you and your parents would be hauled off to jail. One of my favorite ones, don't show the table yet, Matt, but this is obviously a joke, but there's no way they could even sell this today. No way. And again, this is one of my favorite games as a kid. There used to be a fuse out, but you basically wind it up like that, and it starts to tick. And it's just like the hot potato game. You throw it around. And Matt, I've had grown men over at my house in my office, and I'll start this up and just start throwing it around, and everybody turns into a kid at that moment. Am I right?
Yeah, guilty as charged.
Oh, and it goes off. I lost. All right. I'm starting to take this to business meetings now. I do, just to get the mood a little lighter. All right.
You can only speak when you're holding the bomb. That should be the rule.
Perfect. All right. So, Matt, we're going to start. We're going to show some firearms here, because what I want everybody to do is I want you to take a look at this table right here and tell me which of these guns is real. La, 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 la. We'll go number 1, number 2, or number 3. Which one is real? La, 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 la. Anybody answering?
Well, just we got a big thumbs up. A lot of people. Yeah, actually we do, and there are a lot of. We got some 1s and some 3s.
Okay.
Some 3s, and somebody said none.
Here's the answer. None of them are real. Those are all toys. Now, some of the dead giveaways. I mean, is this kind of an Uzi? I don't know my military firearms that well, but I love this thing because this is a squirt gun. It's an electric squirt. Look how far that's going. That's going 30, 40 feet out there.
And then you got my car wet.
Oh, it's dripping now. Anyway, so I love that. It's even got a clip on it. The clip comes out, and that's how and the clip would, you could actually seal it off and have more clips inside your, in your belt. And now I can't hook it. Okay, there we go. All right, so that's a squirt gun. Matt, this is one of yours. Sorry, I got it wet. This is a BB gun, right?
This is a BB gun. Yeah.
Okay, let me dry it off. Sorry, got your BB gun wet. Yeah, that's a BB gun. That's amazing. That's a giveaway, this. But this right here. Oh, yeah, and there's no red tip on it. There's no red tip.
No, that's what I was telling you.
Yeah. Now, see, this one I actually got not too long ago. It's a BB gun. And really? Can you imagine? So they can't sell these things today because you walk out in the front yard with this, and somebody's going to report you or you're going to get shot.
Not only that, but show the action that's on that thing.
Oh, yeah. It's like the real thing.
And when you shoot it, does it recoil?
It's an air gun. It's an air pistol.
Because the slide on this one, the slide actually comes back. Like when you fire it with air running through it,
Oh, like that?
Yeah. But it recocks itself with the slide on top, which is another reason it looks super duper real.
And also, this was a line of toys, this one right here. I actually had 5 different ones, some still in the box. I got rid of them because of my boys growing up. There's no way that I want them grabbing this one. I'm not looking and walking out the front door with this thing. You know what I mean? And this one I only held on to just for something like this, but they're going to be locked away. These are dangerous just because of the sight, not of what they do, but in this day and age, there's no way that you can have a play toy like that. But speaking of that, here's my favorite one from when I was a kid. We showed this in another video. This was actually one that I had as a kid, the M16. And the M16, they've actually used this as props in movies and on television shows because it's almost exact scale. But everything looks exactly right. And then I was the king of the neighborhood because listen to this. There's a worker over there, he actually jumped. He actually jumped. So, I mean, man, that's cool. And if you cock it long enough, it'll go for a 40 seconds firing away like that. So
And
that's
what year was
great.
that gun?
Oh, I must have had it, so it must have been 66, 67. I don't know what it says on here. But same
Somebody
thing.
said, wow, that was loud.
Yeah, that was really loud. Semi-automatic, automatic, 1968. Yep, no, 66, 1966. So yeah, everybody else, when we played Army in my neighborhood all the time. And everybody had guns, you shoot it for everybody. If you got shot, you'd fall down. There was no paintball, it was just pretending. So that was great. All right, one other one. I think we showed it in another video, but Matt, this is the resistance, whatever it is, of all firearms. This was on the market, I don't know how many months. I think it was probably 3 months that this thing was on the market, but it was banned for a number of reasons. And this is the Sonic Blaster by Mattel. If you can find one of these things and it's still working, get it. And it's really rare to find one that's still working. Because this thing would shoot a blast of air. And it was so noisy, it was so loud that, here are the sights. You have to aim it like this, and the sights actually worked. But you aim it like this, looking through the sights, and it would shoot out that blast of air. But when you shot it, it was so noisy that kids were ruining their hearing. And there are plenty of guys, I bet there's guys watching this thing, that have tinnitus today because of this gun. And so it was on the market only a handful of months, and then they took it off. So they were actually thinking about safety back then. The 0M Sonic Blaster. Now, here is our little trivia thing, Matt. We would like to show everybody a little bit of a commercial. Let's see if my watch unlocks it. Does it?
Here, while you do that, I'll go show the picture on this over here, because we think, we're not sure, that this person might have also been the reference for this guy.
That's correct. All right, so here we go. Come back here. Here we go. We'll show a little bit of this commercial. And again, this thing only lasted on the market for a few months. Let's see if we can turn this up. Here we go. Ready? See if you recognize this guy.
You must not fail 0M. This mission is critical.
Who is that? He's going to hurt his hearing right there. You got to cock the gun like that, pump it up, and boom! So who is that?
This is the most unusual weapon.
Oh yeah, we got Sandy Rice. I got it right.
Let's see another shot of him here. Oh, here's right there. There's a good shot of him right there.
Somebody said that's Goldie Hawn's husband.
Yeah, that's right. And you know they're on the 405 there in Los Angeles. You know that's what that is. Yeah, so it's Kurt Russell doing that back then. So Matt, we're going to demonstrate this thing. This is an actual working one, but we're going to do it with a candle. And of course I have to have my lighter here. And Matt, we're gonna. All right.
Do that, I'm gonna put my microphone came off a minute ago.
Oh, it did. Okay. You might want to put on your goggles too, your safety goggles. Put on your safety goggles. So Matt, I'm gonna make you hold this while I shoot it.
All right.
All right. So, good thing there's no wind blowing. There's no wind in the garage right now. All right.
All right. How far away do you think I should get?
I think you should get as far away as possible,
Far away as possible.
just to show this thing so it'll work.
All right, I'm gonna step on
All
the
right.
airplane.
All right. Here, I'm putting on my safety goggles because this thing could fly apart. Okay, so what you have to do first, are you showing this? So you got to move that forward, pump it up. I'm not going to pump it all the way up. I don't want to ruin this thing. It's old. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Okay.
It's not at full power, but it's pretty good. I'm going to cover my ears. This hurts.
I'm off to the side if anybody's concerned.
We're a good, what is this, 25 feet away? I think I got this aimed right. Here we go. Ready?
Oh, you know what? He was just above. I felt the ball of air. It was just above.
It's just above it.
Just above. You would have gotten it.
All right, hold on.
Just brace my thumb.
Okay, hold on.
And that was really loud. I don't know if they can tell how.
No, it's really freaking loud.
You might have blown a few speakers out there.
All right, hold on. I'm not going to shoot it with that. Okay, I'm going to actually use the sights, and I'm going to cover my ear. Ready? Here we go.
Oh.
Where'd it go?
Pretty good. You got one of them, and the other one went out and came back. But again, it was just you were a little north of the target.
One more try, then we'll move on. We got things to do and people to see. All right, one more time. Here we go. That is really loud. All right, here we go. One more time.
Somebody said we blew up their wall.
Okay, one more. Here we go. Am I aiming at it? I think I am.
Yeah, something like that.
Yay!
Oh my God.
You know, I wish we had a decimal meter.
Yeah.
Do you think it would register on my phone?
On a decimal meter?
Yeah. That quick a thing.
Oh, I think so.
You think? Okay, let's do that real quick and see what we got here. Decibel.
Someone put RIP headphone users.
I can't remember what's the name of the stupid thing that I have that's sound meter. The sound meter. Hold on, I've got it on here. Is it meter? Yeah. It's here somewhere. METER. Oh, audio meter. That's it. Here we go. Okay, so audio needs to be updated. Okay, no, it doesn't. It's fine. Okay, so here we are, Matt. Here we are. So our peak. Let's reset. It's good. So our peak is at. How do you reset? Okay, so we should go slow. No, it's good. Okay, here we go. Let's try it one more time.
All right, I'm just going to keep the camera
Oh, there's
on
reset.
that.
Okay, there's reset right there. All right, so now it's me talking. All right, here we go. I just don't know if it's going to register fast enough.
Oh, I think it might.
You know?
Yeah.
All right. So here's why kids no longer own these toys. Okay, ready?
Yeah, I'm plugging my ear.
I'm plugging my ear too. Here we go.
Oh,
No, see, it was too fast. Well, that was 100 decibels.
that was louder than 100.
Oh, look at that. That's damaged hearing. But I think it was more than 100 decibels because it was so fast.
Yeah.
That's pretty great. Easily 100 decibels. And I only cocked it 5 times. You could cock it as many as 10 or 11 times. Oof. All right, great. That's what?
Yeah.
All right.
Mountain Mama said you got to be deaf now.
Yep, pretty much. Let's see if this thing, before we walk out of here, let's see if, I don't know if we're counting down to 10, but I think we're getting close.
Well, I think we're on I think that was 8-ish.
That was
The
8-ish?
next one is 9, and that's the
Okay, this kind of, I mean, we cooked it too long and too hot, I think. But let's see if this worked. Oh, it kind of worked. Yeah, this goop is really, really old. You can buy modern day goop these days, you know. People remake this stuff.
Oops.
You know, I remember this as a kid that it was hard to get this thing off. Hold on a second. Here we go.
You should have used the tiny screwdriver from the.
See if it worked. Oh, I think it's going to work. Hold it. This might be cool. See, if you were good as a kid, you wouldn't overfill the mold like I did. And it would come out perfectly. Oh, Matt, I'm going to have to give this to you as a present, Matt.
We'll give it to Holden for him letting us use his rocket.
That's a good idea. Oh, look at that. Yeah, we trimmed this thing up. You know, as a kid, though, the goop was, when it hardened, was much more firm than this. But that's pretty great. Little shrunken head right there. Oh, yeah. Awesome. Pretty great. But it was much, maybe it's because it's old, but it was a firm piece. All right. So now we're up to number 9. We are up to number 9. Has anybody guessed?
Well, you know what's funny? When you first said all this, I kind of saw a few people saying kind of what it was, but.
Here's why I was easily able to play with that toy over there. Just kidding. This is just coffee. So what did they say?
Yeah, we've got. We're getting people that are real close without even any hints.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So here's the deal. Let's walk and talk. It's right here. So this is so dangerous that they usually, supposedly in some states, it's against the law to resell these. And this was again in the 70s, I think middle to late 70s, that these things were for sale. And nowadays, if you try and find them, you cannot. They are outlawed on eBay. They are not available for sale pretty much anywhere. I happened to find a guy online that had this, and it was like he had a box, just the box, the cardboard box for sale for $250. And I said, you know, I called him and I go, "So you've got a box for sale for $250? And he goes, "Yeah, just a box." I'm like, "Oh, all right. Well, that's a lot of money for just a box." He goes, "Yeah, well, there may be a few other things I could throw in with it." Oh, okay, great. So I took a chance. He never told me if everything was there. He told me he was selling me the empty box for this thing for $250. But I kind of got the hint that he was going to include the thing that was really supposed to be in it. People guessing so far?
Oh yeah, Don Lutz nailed it.
All right. So these things, there's no joke. People were injured very seriously. People were killed by these things. I had them as a kid. I was never killed. But I can't believe, I'm actually, Matt, how long have I been talking about these? 3, 4, 5, 6 years?
At least.
Yeah. And so I finally found the set, and that's when we decided to do this video because of these things. So here we are. I have not opened this box. We just took the tape and the labels off so you wouldn't see the guy's name that sold them to me. But it was not on eBay. It was a personal deal. But I have not looked in here, but by the weight, I've got to assume that it's more than just a box. And Audrey's over there. Hey, Audrey? Hey, sweetie? Ah, she must have gone inside. All right, Matt, let's see. All right, he's packed this pretty well.
It looks like we might have I think it came back. Like a rough connection, but somebody said it was lagging, but I've lost the bad connection.
Okay.
So I think
All right. Okay. Are you on Wi-Fi on my house?
I don't.
It doesn't matter. Just let it go. Yeah. Okay, so here we are. This is it. Oh, yeah, there's got to be stuff in here. Unless he put like bricks in here. Oh, this is bringing back memories. I wonder if there's a date on here. The Jarts Company, Fort Edward, New York. The most exciting outdoor game today, meaning you could be killed. And it is no joke. People lost family members. You know, make a joke about it, but just the fact that we have these things is pretty amazing. It's a missile game. It actually says a missile game. So let's see if it's all here. My $250 box. Wow, look at that. It is, every bit of it's there. That is amazing. So why were these so dangerous? Here were the loops that you'd put in the yard, like this. When I remember, these things would...
Believe it or not, there's a lot of people out here that are saying that they have the exact same set at home.
Still have them?
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, you could probably make a lot of money if you sell them the right places and don't get arrested. Forget eBay, because the eBay police will come in and shut you down.
You got to sell it on the dark web for Bitcoin.
On the dark web for Bitcoin, of course. So here's the deal. So basically, the reason these things are dangerous is because this is a steel and an aluminum tip like this with this plastic body, and then the plastic fins. But I mean, that is no joke. I mean, and when you drop this thing, if I drop it this way, it'll flip around by the time it hits the ground. Ready? Well, almost. But but it is, you know, that's, if I drop that through my foot, if I dropped it on my foot, it'd probably put a hole in my foot.
So let me back up just because the tilt on this thing is...
There you go. So Matt, let me get Audrey. See if I can call. Hold on a second.
Which one?
Oh, no. Call Audrey.
Calling Audrey Dunham. Mobile.
She's in the house. It's so stupid. She's 50, 80 feet away, but I don't want to leave. So I'm going to set this up while she's see if she can come out. So basically, Matt, you come over here. We put a ring over here. I don't want to hit the tree. We're right there. Put another ring over here. She's not answering. I guess I have to play jarts by myself. I grew up as an only child. I can play jarts by myself. All right, so here you go. Oh, boo. I don't know where she is. All right. All right, Matt, so do you want to play with me, Matt?
I don't know how I can because I'm holding the camera. Maybe I could try to throw one with the camera in my hand. But
Don't be a chicken. Why don't you go over there?
And catch.
Yeah, and play catch. This is great. Now don't forget, we have one last toy after this.
So we're still getting a little lag, which is, I'm not getting the warning, but a couple people are saying that we're lagging.
All right.
That means we'll catch up.
Oh, here comes Audrey. Hold on. Hi, sweetie. You're on live. Do you want to come out here and play jarts with me? It's very dangerous.
Oh, well, I have on the stove.
You have what on the stove?
Food.
Oh, so you can't come out and play.
How long would it take?
It take like 2 minutes, a minute and a half. It only takes a second to die.
But if our lunch burns, then
Just,
sorry.
all right, well, if I want to burn our lunch, I'll play by myself.
No, I'm coming right now.
Okay, I love you, bye. Oh, there she is.
Somebody said, "Rest in peace, Jeff. Died by lag."
Died by lag,
'Cause
what?
We're pushing the limits of your Wi-Fi the further we get away from the house.
Oh, all right. Sweetie, here you go. You want blue or red?
What about Buddy?
Oh, yeah, we gotta make sure, don't throw it if Buddy's over there. You might kill him.
Buddy.
All right, you want blue or red?
Red.
You want red. Get red jarts. Now, do you know how this works?
I've seen you do it, I think.
No, I've never had this before.
You just kind of showed me, like, in the kitchen how you do it with your hand. You just kind of toss it up, right?
Okay, she's making this sound like it was fake. I have never taken these out of the box.
No, okay, but all right. You did show me. You said you take the thing and you go like this.
You go like this, right?
That's,
All right.
That's all it was.
Somebody
Okay.
said red doesn't show the blood.
Just a little bit.
All right.
buddy.
So you got to stand right here next to the ring. You see that one over there? All right. And you just chunk it. You just chunk it like this. Or chunk it. Yeah. And you try and go in the ring. I'll go first. Ready? There's wind blowing. Oh, I suck. Okay. Buddy's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. Wait, am
All
I
right.
supposed to stand in the ring?
No, it doesn't matter. Just throw it.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead, Matt. See how
Buddy got my mic. Okay, here we go.
see how Audrey does. Ready?
Yep.
Yep. Oh. Whoa, you're closer than me.
Oh no.
Oh, buddy. No, buddy, don't bite it. He's going to bite an 80-year-old toy. Okay, here we go. Try again while Buddy's this way. Here we go. Oh, yes. All right, sweetie, go ahead.
Okay, no pressure.
Okay, go ahead. No pressure at all.
Been practicing.
I have not been practicing. It's been in the box, I swear to God.
Right.
Go.
Okay. I'm really nervous about the dog.
No, he's fine.
Okay.
The jart's faster than the dog.
Whoa.
Oh, what?
See, that's how death occurs.
No, buddy, All right, try it
I
again.
did well on the first one.
Yeah, you did really great. Do it one more time.
All right.
Like, here we go. Oh, close, close. It's good, babe. You're stronger than you think you are. Look, you went past the ring.
Okay.
All right, good job.
Okay.
Don't let lunch burn. We're almost done. We have one more toy to show
Okay,
him.
all right.
I'm going to get these jarts because Buddy's going to eat them.
And people were acting, they wanted to see the confirmation of actual ringage. Pretty good, dude.
Yeah, right in there.
Yeah.
Right in there.
Very bad connection. Going back.
Okay, all right. All right. All right. I'm going to pick these up because Buddy's going to eat them if I don't. But Matt, we have one last toy to show everybody. And this toy is more dangerous than any you could imagine. Right? Right, Matt?
I would say probably more injuries. Yeah.
More injuries. Yeah, more injuries than the jarts even. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
And by the way, they just shipped these giant boxes. It's a play set for my boys.
Oh, I wonder what was
That's
going
what
on with
that's what that doorbell was when we were goofing off. I forgot the delivery was today. All right, here we go. When my boys get older, I'll actually build them a house. But I'm not going to bother building them a house at age 2. Gotta wait till they get older and I
But when you
build
say
them
house,
a
you're
fort.
talking about like a kid's house.
A kid's house. Yeah, this is just one of those little plastic play things. As for my daughters, I built them an actual giant, little house in the backyard. It was 2 stories and the whole deal. All right, the most dangerous toy ever. You wouldn't call it a toy, would you?
Well,
Oh, by the way, before you show that, show this. We had to show this. Had to show the '69 Trans Am.
hold on 1 second.
Yeah. What are
There,
we?
now we're back live.
Okay. Had to show you the '69 Trans Am. That was all part of the decades of all these toys that we're showing, right?
Yeah.
Yep, and that's the real deal right there. Numbers matching the whole deal. What a fun vehicle that is. And only one of 4 that has the fold down back seat.
Nice.
Right? Yep, that started the whole Trans Am thing. All right, Matt. This is going to be a letdown to some people, but it's more dangerous than the jarts, even more injuries and all that. It's my actual 10-speed from when I was in junior high. Still have it, the orange varsity 10-speed. But I put something on it that I also had as a kid. a siren. And I'm not even going to wear a helmet. Thanks for joining us. See you later.